Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. I say again, welcome to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. And what is my thought for today? Well, my thought for today is about China flexing through the Brics on the United States and the United Kingdom. And why do I say that? Well, there's no secret, I'm quite sure many of you have heard of the airstrikes or drone strike that occurred in the country of Jordan and on a military base, and it happened to kill three American service members. And so, prayers go up for those individuals' families, and I salute those fellow veterans that gave their lives serving their country. But what has happened is that President Biden and the United Kingdom, they decided to, I guess you could say, retaliate and conduct some airstrikes of their own against Houthi in Yemen. And so what's happened, this has triggered a response from the Brics nations. And obviously it's no secret that China is the head of the Brics alliance, just like the United States is the head of the United Nations. And so that is the reason why I am naming this particular episode, China is flexing on the United States and the UK through the Brics. Now, when I say flexing, I'm talking about exercising power. And so the Brics nations have decided, or the Brics alliance have decided to issue out sanctions against the United States and the United Kingdom because they disapproved of the UK and United States actions. They kind of saw it as maybe not regarding the safety of the citizens of Yemen, and maybe a bit more interfering in another country or region's, so to speak, destiny. But I mean, I don't know on this one. As a fellow vet, I just don't think that Biden had a choice. And I don't. I personally would want the United States to respond, because you can't have terrorist organizations or other entities killing United States service members and its allies, and it not go unchecked. You can't have that, So in this particular case, I am in favor of the United States retaliating, because we're taking care of our own. Now, there may be some that disagree with that, and anytime you have wars or skirmishes going on, it's not going to be an easy thing. There's going to be some collateral damage, and there's going to be casualties and losses on either side, no matter which way it goes. But these are the sanctions that the Brics nations and the Brics alliance have chosen to use against the United States and the United Kingdom. Number one, they've chosen economic measures. Number two, they've chose diplomatic restrictions. And three, they've chosen arms embargo against the United States and the United Kingdom. Now, these particular areas, to me, it looks like they're gonna put some type of hammer on the economies and even possibly the currencies of these two nations. They're gonna, I guess, kind of hit them in their pockets. And all of this affects, the United States and the UK's ability to, trade, their economic policy with other nations, because both of these nations have economic and some diplomatic ties with some of these nations in the Brics, as well as in the West and the United Nations. So they're going to hit them where it hurts, and I think that I see it as a way of China and the BRICS nations undermining the power and dominance of the West, and also undermining and a way of unseating the United States dollar as the world reserve currency and its dominance. Now, that's not an easy thing to do, but at the current rate that the BRICS nations are working, I'll say China being the head, I don't know. I believe that they're going to definitely, over time, they're going to put a hurting if the United States and the West doesn't get something figured out quickly. But the U.S. dollar, you can already see the beating that it's already taken. And I believe that the only thing that's saving it is because it was the world's reserve currency, and because the world is tied into it, it affects, everybody. So that's the only thing that's keeping its legs alive, because it's been established and it's got deep roots. So it's not so easy just to uproot it, not without taking the rest of the world with it. Now, what I do see the BRICS alliance doing is, while they're steadily basically trying to take the legs out from the United States dollar, what they're going to do is build up their own currencies and use the BRICS coin as maybe somewhat as an alternative. And they won't do this fully overnight, but I believe that they have some form of a backup plan in order to use something else besides the United States dollar to be able to purchase and make moves and do trade internationally and globally and even locally. I believe it's going to be the BRICS coin. And once they have that established, then they may still use the U.S. dollar to do some form, of trade and stuff like that. But what they will do, they'll lessen and weaken its power, where it won't be won't be as dominant, and they'll be able to move in another currency or other currencies without it. But yeah, and so what that tells me, that if this BRICS alliance this fast can exercise governing sanctions against the United States and the UK, well, then that tells me that they've already established that they have power. You can't put sanctions on anyone unless you feel that your group has power. So obviously this body has established that they have power, and they're seeking to establish themselves. And even though the BRICS supposedly maybe has a different focus than the United Nations, where it may not be so much centered on humanitarian, I still believe that the BRICS alliance is the rival to the United States and the United Nations. But more to come, guys. But I foresee this being some problems, and I see the United States and China coming to a head over this, because if you look at it and read between the lines, basically it's to take power away from the United States and the West, and to basically cut the legs out from under the United States dollar. And to be honest with you, it looks like they're working on doing this very fast, especially with the inflation going on and the U.S. dollar being weak. And as more countries are going into become members of the BRICS alliance, they could unseat the dollar if they get enough power and you get enough of them, and they shoot up the value of the BRICS coin. They could unseat it, and thus further try to remove the United States from its dominant position, which I will say that I believe right now China is the number one world superpower. If you want to really keep it real, right now I see the United States is running second. I really do. I think China right now has got an edge, on the United States, and they are moving fast. And the more support they gain globally through the BRICS, they're only going to become stronger. China, in and by itself, is already strong and maintains a dominant position because they produce everything. They have a powerful military. Their economy has come up. I mean, they came up fast. So, but eventually this will lead to, I believe, a clash with China and the United States. Because they're seeking what they're doing. They're openly undermining the United States and the United States and United Nations, and they're basically seeking to depose and displace the United States and the United Nations from power, and they're basically moving themselves in, as players on the world stage. The BRICS nations, they have come, and they've come not just with a seat at the table, but a prominent seat at the table. And China is seeking to be number one. But that's all I have on this episode of my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. But it's something to think about, But at the rate that this BRICS alliance is moving, like I said, I don't foresee it a war, being too far off, because now you're starting to mess with the United States power, its power and its money, and that affects a lot of corporations. You messing with its arms, or arms embargo, it's getting ready to get thick. So I had put the video out, and I've already started a series on my YouTube channel about telling the folks that are eligible for selective service, get your fitness up, because a potential military draft may be coming, but it looks like it's getting ready to heat up. And as I see it, if the BRICS alliance and China at the head is dropping sanctions on the U.S. and U.K. because they went against Houthi, or Yemen in the Middle East, then that already tells you what side they're backing. So that means that in a sense, they're backing Iran. So you pretty much get the picture of what's going to go down. And as it seems as World War III is starting to, the pieces are beginning to align up. But anyway, that's all I have, guys, on this one. Thanks for listening. The name of this podcast is Snacks Thoughts, SNAKZTHOUGHTS. And you can find this podcast on Acast, Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a host of other social media outlets. And lastly, I have my YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. That's ERICBROADUS YouTube, or EricBroadusYouTube.com. And on my YouTube channel, I do military content, political, health, nutrition, philosophical, a host of topics. So please share them both. And also, lastly, I will leave the link to the video or the article where I garnered some of the information from, which is called First Post. Shout out to First Post. They are a international news feed that deals with everything from humanitarian to economics, finance, politics, and current events. So shout out to First Post. But I'll leave the link to the article, and it'll take you, if you want to see it, it'll take you to the actual video, that I actually viewed. But anyway, that's all I have, guys. Peace out. But ladies and gents, the world is going through a shift. So be ready. Eyes open and keep those ears up. Peace out. Later.